Off-Road Championship, plus all the action from the nail-biting DTM series. On the Limit is proudly presented by O'Hagan's. Oh, to be sure, you can almost taste the action.
The Queen Motor Spares Tarka 400, round 7 of the Bankford Off-Road Championship, got underway with an expo in Queenstown in the Eastern Cape, which was well supported by crews en route to Tarkastad. The weather conditions were reminiscent of last year, when the area was subjected to torrential rain, hail and sleet, which made conditions most uncomfortable for the competitors. Highlights of the Queen Motor Spares Tarka 400, the penultimate round of the Bankford Off-Road Championship, are proudly brought to you by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankford. If it moves, we'll finance it. The event was a last-minute replacement for the cancelled Lichtenberg 400, and only 18 special and 26 production vehicles made the long trip to Tarkastad. It wasn't long before the heavens opened up and crews had to don rain gear and take cover, and then the hail pelted down. The Production Vehicle Championship has been delicately poised all season. With 2 events to go in the hotly contested championship, there were 4 crews in with a chance of winning the coveted title. Joint championship leaders Neil Woolridge and Kenny Schalthammer have 1 non-finish, 4 second places and a 3rd to their credit.
We've got quite a nice lead in our class T, which is very important to us as a manufacturer. And to win the overall championship is also important. We tie with a Nissan at the moment.
Duncan Foss and Mike Griffith have notched up 3 class wins, a 2nd and a 3rd this season, but they blotted their copybook with a non-finish on the Caledon 400.
We're obviously hoping that for us to do well against the Ford, we need Janelle and Hannes to have 2 good results. So if they can maybe beat the Ford and take points away from him, and we can do well in our class, then we've really got a good chance of beating them.
The situation in the Special Vehicle Championship is much the same, with 4 teams in line to win the championship. Interestingly, 2 of the contenders come from Class B, which is for 2-litre powered cars. Queenstown pair Greg Harvey and Boy Stone has won 2 championships, but what about their hometown advantage?
I think it will work a little bit to my advantage, but still at the end of the day you've got to race, and there's lots of fast guys out there, so I'm sure it's not going to be a hang of an advantage. You know, we're all fairly competitive and race fairly same paces, so I don't know, you know, it's really what's going to happen on the day.
Greg Dowse dropped to 4th when the championship was re-scored after the Caledon 400, but has challenged the decision.
There's some controversy over the number of starters and some issues around minimum starters in the race, so we've taken a safe route and entered into Class A.
At the commission meeting, it was decided we would score as per the regulations in the book, which we've now done, which has resulted in some unhappiness, understandably, but that is the reason. It's been a correction in something that was done wrong.
Intermittent rain and hail resulted in the start of the 50-kilometre prologue being delayed for an hour due to large sections of the route being impassable. John Weir-Smith and Jeff Minute surprised the favoured 4-wheel drive vehicles when they qualified fastest in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Gymco. Caledon 400 winners Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek had to be content with 2nd place in the factory Nissan hardbody and would start 28 seconds behind the flying Gymco. Reigning champions Genil de Villiers and Francois Jordan powered their Nissan hardbody into 3rd spot and were just over 3 minutes slower than the leaders. Championship co-leaders Woolridge and Schalthammer were 4th fastest in the V8-powered Ford Racing Ranger, only 2 seconds behind de Villiers and Jordan. Toyota 1000 Desert Race winner Greg Dowse and Archie Rutherford were next up in the Nashua Mobile Race Co., which had been entered in Class A instead of Class S for this event. Husband and wife team Marius and Francis Boersma had a steady run in the Caltex Independent 4x4 Land Rover, but was soon to be passed by a Tangmacher Geneni and Alex Sally in the Sam Racing Gymco. The Botswana businessman qualified 6th. Multiple former champions Arpi Reiniger and Robin Harton posted the 7th fastest time in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. Fastest of the Class D entries were Mark Corbett and Jean Moore in the Century Property Developments Isuzu. They qualified 8th, 38 seconds ahead of Foss and Griffiths in the Works Nissan hardbody. A good finish was crucial for the factory Nissan duo if they wanted to keep their championship hopes alive. Former quad racers Mark Breckel and Ian Kilburn rounded out the top 10 in the Brasco Refrigeration Jimco. Class E Championship contenders Hugo and Jaap de Bruin qualified 14th in the Toyota Hilux, 46 seconds ahead of rivals Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the Ford Ranger. Father and son, Bez and Dion Besaidnote, were the leading Class B qualifiers and would start 18th. Special vehicle driver Richard Carolyn made his debut as a production vehicle driver in the Class F two-wheel drive O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Jeep and qualified 21st, while rookie teammates Nick Gosler and Glenn Stain were the leading Class S qualifiers in the Porsche-powered O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Raceco. But there were problems for another Class S contender.
Went through the ditch a bit too fast and CV sheared off. So throw it back now and fix it. Hopefully tomorrow start from behind and catch up. Yeah.
Time for the crews to relax after a tough prologue, while technicians got on with cleaning and preparing the vehicles for the next day's 405-kilometer haul. There were problems with Piet Haasbroek's Class D Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser.
Ons het weer 'n mis gehad, maar die mis het dan toe reggekom en het ons in 'n sementwal ingegly en die vere gebreek. Maar ek meen ons maak reg, ons het nie klaar gemaak nie. Ons sal môre seker heel agter begin, maar ek meen ek glo ons het 'n kans.
By contrast, the mood in the super team camp was quite upbeat.
We came out with a completely different strategy today. We came out to come and win, instead of sitting back and trying to catch the rest of the pack and pacing ourselves during the race. So we're going to go like hell, and we're looking for a good result. We're sitting in 4th at the moment in class, and we're looking for a result. We're looking for possibly a 2nd, and I think Greg's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Our strategy was to pull away first tomorrow. If anything happened to the front runners on the championship is basically still wide open. There's tomorrow, and then there's another race at the end of November, and we've still got a 50-50 chance to win the championship, and we're going to go for it.
The starting order for the Queen Motorspares Tarka 400, a special vehicle on pole for the first time in many events, with production vehicles filling 6 of the top 10 places. Presented by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it.
There's 1,000 words that I could say.
SABC3 brings you more of your favorite tracks on Pop 2K Volume 4.
You're gone, baby, you're. Tell me what you see. Now when you look at me.
20 original tracks.
After dark.
20 great tracks on Pop 2K Volume 4, out now.
We got it. If you want it, it's here, waiting for you.
O'Hagan's Irish Pubs, nationwide.
Are you overweight, finding it impossible to get rid of those extra kilos? And you've tried all those weight loss programs that promise the world but deliver only disappointment and no magical results? Stop! Introducing the revolutionary new Slender C from Verimark, the only product that guarantees weight loss and a slimmer and more beautiful you. Developed by a pharmacist, the new Slender C was tested extensively at a weight loss clinic, and the results were unbelievable.
I have lost 10 kilos in 4 months and roughly 51 centimeters.
I've lost about 27 kilos in 5.5 months.
Isabel Jones, South Africa's foremost consumer journalist, put Slender C to the test and lost 10 kilograms in only 4 months. Slender C is so effective because it comes with 2 weight loss formulations. One, the accelerator, suppresses your craving for food and accelerates your weight loss rate. And 2, the fat absorber, ensures that the fat in the food you eat is absorbed in the small intestine and removed naturally through the digestive system.
3 years ago, I lost 12 kilos and 65 centimeters, and I did it all in only 3 months.
The Slender C range also includes a slow-release multivitamin and CalMag to ensure healthy weight loss.
I've gone from about a 48 to a 34.
Slender C is all you need to get rid of those extra kilos and comes complete with 1 month's supply of fat absorber, 1 month's supply of accelerator, plus a handy instruction booklet to maximize your weight loss. Bought individually, this program would cost 248 Rand. But if you call 505 7000 now, the Slender Sea program is yours for the special price of only 199 Rand. And Slender Sea comes with a unique guarantee. If you do not see a reduction in your weight in the first 4 weeks, Verimark will refund your purchase price in full. Phone now or visit your nearest Verimark outlet and get the Slender Sea program for only 199 Rand.
If you've decided that it's time to lose those extra kilos, then you should get the new Slender Sea now. I'm glad I did.
Presented by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it. Crews woke up to a sunny day with no threat of rain. Conditions were expected to dry out fast, and dust would then become a factor when overtaking. Multi-car teams have developed strategies to protect their championship contenders.
Greg's already dropped his event, so it's quite critical that he finishes the next two events. And I think just in all due respect, just on his pace alone, if he finishes, it should be enough to secure the championship.
Yesterday we had a great time trial. It was very muddy and we really enjoyed the mud. So we ended up 30 seconds in front of our nearest competitor, which is Duncan Voss. And there's still an outside chance for us on the championship, so we're going to really push hard today and hopefully convert it into a win.
Coming from behind 5 minutes is a little bit more than we'd have liked, but I think it's a rough route, a lot of dongers, unmarked ditches and things, so being first of the road can be a little bit of a handicap. We're obviously not going to have much dust today, so let's see how it goes from there.
I think the strategy will be the same as 2 years ago when we won. We take it easy, it's rough, it's long, and we see what happens, you know. Last time the front guys dropped out and we ended up with a win.
Ahead of the 44 starters lay 3 tough 135-kilometre loops, which comprised mountain passes and extremely rough sections, interspersed with flat-out high-speed sections. 8 o'clock, and the moment of truth finally arrived with Weir, Smith and Minute first away in the Jimco, followed 28 seconds later by Grobler and Leek in the Nissan hardbody. De Villiers and Jordan had over 3 minutes to make up on the leaders and had Woolridge and Scholthammer only 2 seconds behind them at the start. Relying on the Nissan's blindingly fast acceleration, De Villiers immediately opened up a gap on the Ford. It was a case of no quarter asked or given from the multiple Bankfin touring car champion as he disappeared into the distance. Nashua Mobile racing pair Dowse and Rutherford were 5th early on in the race. Atangmacher Geneni and Alex Sally were 6th in the V6-powered Sam Racing Jimco, over 4 minutes behind race leaders Weir, Smith and Minute. Barbers Pond 500 winners Reyneke and Houghton have not had the best of seasons and have devoted much of their time to developing the new Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser to its full potential. Corbett and Moore won Class D on the Caledon 400 in the very quick Isuzu and were hoping for a repeat win. Behind them, Harvey and Stone and Breckland Kilburn were battling it out for 9th place. Terence Marsh and Trevor Eyre had moved up a place in the Nashua Mobile Jimco and relegated Foss and Griffith to 12th on the road. At the front of the field, Weir, Smith and Minute in the BMW 540 powered Jimco and Grobler and Leek in the Nissan hardbody were locked in a no-holds-barred battle, with the 2 crews separated by mere seconds. De Villiers and Jordan were on a charge in the second factory-entered Class T Nissan hardbody, but they too were locked in battle with Woolridge and Scholthammer in the Ford Racing Ranger. Sit back and enjoy the onboard action from the Nissan and the Ford. An hour into the race and the lead had changed. The Nissan was now ahead of the Jimco, but only just. Weir Smith had wrong slotted and Grobler nipped by into the lead. Corbett and Moore had matters well under control in Class D, but could not afford to relax their pace because Foss and Griffiths were still very much in the hunt. The De Bruyn father and son, who were 17th overall and 9th in the production vehicle category in the Toyota Hilux, held the Class E lead. Richard Carolyn and Scott Abram were the lone entry in Class F and were having a steady run in the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jeep and had made up 2 places. Special Vehicle Championship hopefuls Marcus Taylor and Marcus Shalane were 21st overall in the Truck Time JRE and well ahead of the rest of the Class B contenders. With Frikkie Buerta not making the start, Nick Gosler and Glenn Stain only had to finish to win Class S, but this was not to be. They eventually retired with brake problems. After 90 minutes, Hannes Krobler and Richard Leek were in the lead in the Nissan hardbody, but there was still the ever-present threat of Weir, Smith and Millett. The Super Team pair had dropped a few seconds on the Nissan, but were way ahead of their nearest rivals in the special vehicle category. Woolridge and Scholthammer won this event last year and were hoping for a repeat win, which would put them into an unassailable lead in the championship. But de Villiers and Jordan had other ideas. The onboard footage from the cockpit of the Ford and Nissan tells its own story. A bit of a miscalculation here on the part of Woolridge, but what a roller coaster ride. Still on board the Ford Racing Ranger as Makakhaneni powers past and Woolridge drops another place. Presented by Ford, Nissan, Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it. Toyota and Bankfin. If it moves, we'll finance it. Krobler and Leek passed through the service point at the Tarka Showgrounds without stopping. Weir, Smith and Millett decided on a similar servicing strategy, preferring to chase the leading Nissan hardbody. De Villiers had no choice but to stop.
The wiper doesn't work and we can't see in the mud. It's a bit of a problem. So we had to stop to rectify the wiper motor. You gotta go.
There were problems too for Makakhaneni and Sally. Valuable time was lost as the service crew tried to get the wheel off. Reineke and Harton elected not to stop either, while in the Nashua Mobile Racing Pit there was gourmet fare on hand for the crews.
Don't feed animals.
There were problems in the Foss pit. A torsion bar mounting had broken on the Nissan, but it was decided that he nursed the vehicle to the finish rather than waste time in the pits. The PlayStation Pajero pit.
We ran very low fuel because it's a rough route, and we thought a little bit of fuel, less weight, can go faster, so it's working.
Bad news for the Isuzu team. Corbett was out of the race. The lead had changed yet again. Weir, Smith and Millett were back in the lead and opening a good gap on the Nissan over the rough terrain. Krobler and Leek were not content with just leading the production vehicle category. They wanted the overall lead too. Victory on the Queen Motorspares Tarka 400 would bring their winning tally to 3 this season. Despite the suspension on the Nissan hardbody not being in good shape, Foss and Griffiths soldiered on at the head of the Class D field. A bit of a moment for Class F leaders Carolyn and Abram. The situation in Class E remained unchanged. The De Bruyns and the Toyota Hilux led from Schroeder and Peckham in the Ford Ranger, with the Duplessis brothers Andre and Yuri third in the Nissan hardbody. Taylor and Deschalaine were still the leaders in Class B, with Gil Nel second in the Look Africa Truggy and Carl van der Merwe in the Orco third. The lead had changed again, and Grobler and Leek were back in command, and in spectacular style at that. The Nissan hardbody hadn't missed a beat all day, and there was the added advantage of not having to stop to refuel. Woolridge and Scholthammer had moved into second place in the Ford Racing Ranger, and they too had not had to stop to refuel, which can save up to 10 minutes. Weir Smith and Minute got stuck in a mud hole and then had to stop to refuel, which cost them 9 minutes. They were hell-bent on catching the two production vehicles. Genil de Villiers and Francois Jordan were also on a charge in the Nissan hardbody and were third overall in the production vehicle category ahead of veteran R.P. Reinecker and Robin Houghton in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. A puncture on the first lap and power steering problems cost them valuable time. Harvey and Stone in the Castrol Queen Motorspares Jimco were comfortably ensconced in second place in the special vehicle category. Past winner of the Tarka 400, Cliff Barker and Vic Comfer, were 7th overall in the trusty Barker Performance Products Land Rover. Terence Marsh and Trevor Ayer, the Nashua Mobile Jimco, which had earlier rolled down a mountainside and landed in a river, closely followed them. Championship contenders Greg Darce and Archie Rutherford were 4th overall in the special vehicle category in the Nashua Mobile Race Co. Production Vehicle Championship co-leaders Foss and Griffiths continued to nurse the ailing Nissan hardbody to the finish. The tension in the cockpit was palpable. Father and son, Bodo and Gary Berthold, started 33rd in the locally designed and built BAT and were 5th in the special vehicle category and on their way to their 5th finish of the season. Macher Ghaneni's hopes of winning the Tarka 400 as a driver and a co-driver had flown out of the window after he picked up 3 punctures. A broken jack didn't help his cause either. A mud hole presented some crews with a problem. Fortunately, there was a tractor on standby. Take a look at the top contenders in the classes. In Class T, for unlimited four-wheel drive vehicles, Grobler and Leek had opened a lead of over 6 minutes on Woolridge and Scholthammer in the Ford Racing Ranger, who were in turn 26 minutes ahead of Reinecker and Houghton in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. They had a clean run during the second half of the race. In Class A, for unlimited space frame vehicles, Weir Smith and Minute in the O'Hagan's Kopenhagen Hotel Super Team Jimco had a 23-minute lead over Harvey and Stone in the Castrol Queen Motorspares Jimco, who had finished in every event in the Bankford Off-Road Championship. Marsh and Ayer survived their little excursion into the river and were third, just on 30 minutes behind the leaders. In Class D, the Nissan hardbody of Foss and Griffiths limped towards the finish. Despite the suspension problem, they were 5th overall in the production vehicle category and 10th on the road, and had a 30-minute lead over brothers Henry and Maurice Mutton in the PlayStation Mastercraft Pajero. They, in turn, were 38 minutes ahead of the third-place brothers Mark and Stuart Moffat in the McCarthy Land Rover. Getting stuck in the mud hole and this puncture robbed Richard Carolyn and Scott Abram of a top 10 finish in the Class F Super Team Jeep. In Class E, reigning champions Manfred Schroeder, Jack Peckham had got by the De Brains and were 8th overall in the production vehicle category. The De Brains were 16 minutes behind the Ford Racing Ranger and 25 minutes ahead of the third-placed Hannes Steen and Ferdy Seegers in the Toyota Hilux double cab. In Class B, Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane had a clean run in the truck time JRE, They were headed for their 5th consecutive class win and 6th finish out of 7 events. Reigning Class B champion Gil Nel in the Look Africa Truggy had to be content with 2nd place and trailed the leaders by over 5 minutes. Carl van der Merwe in the Orco was 39 minutes behind the leaders at this stage. A well-deserved victory for Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek, their 3rd win of the year and Nissan's 6th consecutive victory.
The Tarka Start event is not easy. It's the first time we've finished it and we win it, so we're very, very happy.
The Queen Motorspares 400 will be remembered as one of the most hotly contested events in South African off-road racing. 2 class wins for Nissan, 1 for Ford and 1 for the Super Team. A popular 2nd special vehicle victory for the O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Super Team's John Weir-Smith and a first for Jeff Minnett in the Bankfin Off-Road Championship.
To the organisers, we say thank you. To Andre Buerta, who is the main man behind all of this, and he doesn't really get into the limelight. We thank him a lot for his efforts, our mechanics, for putting this car together, and even the guy with the tractor that pulled us out the mud. There's so many people we need to thank and appreciate, and this team and the hours they spend and their dedication to it. It all adds up, and yeah, and to our darling wives that let us go and play like kids, we love them too. This is a way to spend a Saturday.
Class A vehicles occupied the top 7 places, and Harvey and Stone's 2nd place finish puts them in a very strong position to win the title for the 3rd time. The final round of the Bankfin Off-Road Championship will be the Carnival City Casino 400 in Brakpan on the 29th and 30th of November. The event promises to be an exciting finale to a tightly fought championship, so see you there. Highlights of the Queen Motorspares Tarka 400, the penultimate round of the Bankfin Off-Road Championship, were proudly brought to you by Ford, Nissan.